Hello, lads and ladies. Welcome back. Sunday, the 18th of January. League One is back. League One Live is back. We're into some sort of normality. This is the first show on a Sunday, I think, for 5 weeks, because 4 weeks ago we had a Monday night show. Then it was Boxing Day. Then it was the 29th. We had a show on a Tuesday, I think. Then we had a show on a Saturday night. Then we had a show on a Wednesday. So it's all been confuddled, if that's a word. I've just made a word. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Give us a like, give us a subscription. But before anything, it is time. Let's bring him in. My mate, Jake Tong. Oh, sorry, wrong one. I put the wrong one in. How are you, mate? How are you today? It's great to see you. Looking well. How are you, mate?
Yeah, looking well. Well, I'm not well because I put bloody Christmas weight on, as you can imagine. But yeah, no, I think we're okay. I think to get a draw at an ex-Premier League club, it's not a bad thing to do. Don't know if Cambridge United have ever played in the Premier League, but yeah, no, I'm good, mate. It was good. I had a nice weekend. I had a nice little detour to Southeast Asia, aka Luton. Got to see all the lovely kebab houses and tuk-tuks that drive on the road down there. Yeah, it was good. I had a nice time. I had some good food. I had a KFC at LFE, my favourite service station, on the way home.
Was it a smooth journey?
It was a fairly smooth. Yeah, it was pretty smooth, pretty easy, pretty straightforward down the M1.
But your journey was smoother than mine.
Eh?
Your journey was smoother than mine.
Well, you were at home.
Yeah, just on my way to the game and the way back, there were so many bumps in the road.
Oh, all right, Pete. Yeah, look, it's a step in the right direction. Look, I think
1-1.
I think if we can beat Burton on Thursday, which I'm pretty sure that we can do, then it becomes a very good point. But we'll talk about that more a little bit later. How are you?
Living the dream. Living the dream.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
I'm really enjoying life at the minute, Jake. Bar Saturdays and the occasional Tuesday night, I'm great. It's absolutely fantastic. No, look, what I will say, yesterday we played Cambridge, and they were in League One last year. We spoke a lot on them. Neil House has gone in there and sorted them out. They are defensively very robust. They're strong. They compete. Team of men. Only conceded 20 goals. They played 25, 26 games now. I think the fifth now in the division. And they got the goal. Very, very wonderful goal. I literally clapped the goal. It was that good. They should have had 2, or maybe 3 before half-time, without really testing the keeper too much. Second half, they came off. We were a little bit better for 10 or 15 minutes. But when Cambridge got it, they were more purposeful with the passes, and you can see they've recruited, I think, a tad better. I feel that they're a step above Fleetwood, if I'm honest with you, which is scary, to be fair. They've now beaten us 6 times in a row. Fleetwood got a goal back for the first time in many a year. Fleetwood scored. I didn't celebrate. I was quite gutted we equalised, to be fair, because I was thinking, papering over those cracks again. As
you said to me yesterday, cracking over those papers.
And I said that in commentary as well. I had to read. So just ask Phil. And I also said about Kelland Watts has had more nights in a hotel than Lenny Henry as well, with his loan spells. So it was. You know me with my analogy. Then they got a goal through Gibbons, who obviously used to play for
Bristol Rovers.
There we are. My mum said, "You're not done it for a while." I went, "Leave it with me. Leave it with me."
Oh, sorry, they lost again, didn't they?
So we're the same, and then obviously they win the game. So yeah, other than that, I've had a good weekend. Back in the gym today. See, there's nothing. I think it's my coping mechanism after a Fleetwood defeat, prepping for League One Live, and let's say hello to people in the chat. We've got 34 live chats to catch up with. Ballard again, ole. Jake Beasley again. Now, unfortunately, we've only got 11 games to cover here on League One Live today. And Burton against Huddersfield did get postponed. So
we're going to spend the whole time talking about League Grant and how they and how they're going to try and get Skabala.
Absolutely.
You want a game.
Absolutely. Hello, Dave. Hope you're well. Rob Street again. Olay. 2-0 up again. Not won again. Olay. We could also say, hello, Parmex. Hope you're well. Hello to the Bolton fans that are in. Wonderful fan base, I must say. Definitely didn't have a bit of a Twitter debate the other day with Bolton fans, and it was meant in good spirits, to be fair. I enjoyed having a bit of a debate, to be fair. The Greens are marching up to League One. What Greens are they?
It'll be on about Plymouth, honey. They're marching up to League One.
I thought it meant up to League One. I was like, hey.
The Greens have probably got a green third.
Absolutely. Good evening. Hello. How's proud? Wigan Athletic. Yeah. What's with the black? We're at.
Don't say anything that Dave has told you to say because it's not funny.
I'm not saying anything.
Because he's texting me saying, "Are you wearing black for Lincoln's funeral on Thursday?"
That's brilliant. No, we're wearing black for my hairline. Obviously, it's going a little bit, so I must say. Hello, Dylan. Hope you're well. Hello, Sue. Hope you're well. Good evening. Hi, guys. Bluebird get a big win for Cardiff, which we'll come to. Correct. Say no more. And I'll tell you what, there's 88 in the chat. If you haven't already, get like and get subscribed. 138 now away from 18,500 subscribers. Let's see if we can hit 100 likes and that while live. That'd be appreciated. Bradford City 1, Cardiff City 2, Jake. Big win for this. No team in the league of more points than the Bluebirds away from home. Bradford only second home defeat of the season. The other coming against Burton earlier this season. 3 defeats in just over 13 months now for the Bantams. Cardiff City goes 6 points clear. That is one of, if not the biggest win of the season for Cardiff. And they're wrapping it up now, aren't they? They're starting to perform like champions. They've been playing at a high level for a number of months now, but it almost feels like things are clicking into gear. And around this January period, they're putting on that showing. I think now, if you ask 100% of League One fans, I think maybe 95% of people. So I think everyone in League One would say Cardiff would win the league, bar you that still thinks Lincoln can win it.
Well, I think we've said it all season, Ben, how we think teams can get at Cardiff, right? And there are teams that have shown it this year. Bradford were one of them, but yesterday, I don't know. I thought Bradford was a touch unfortunate yesterday. There's a couple of decisions that probably didn't go against them. And I know, as a Lincoln fan this weekend, I'm probably not really the one to judge about decisions going against teams. But I thought Cardiff did a professional job on Bradford. They got themselves in front. Really nice goal from David Turnbull from outside the box. Then Callum Chambers is that 2 in 3 now. A lovely cheeky, deft little finish.
2 in 2.
Did he? Oh, was their last game the Wigan game? Was it really? It didn't fit.
Yeah, they've not been. Yeah, they haven't played because.
Oh, they didn't have a game last week, did they? Because there was only 4.
For you. He hadn't scored in 28 matches. And he scored in back-to-back league games, and good win for him.
Yeah, a massive win, and what it does is. It takes Cardiff a little bit further away. Obviously, Lincoln and Bradford both dropped points yesterday. It puts the gap to 6 points clear at the top of the
9
league.
on Bradford as well.
Even Bradford have a game in hand, which they've got to win. Hopefully,
You're a Bolton fan?
Hey, am I a Bolton fan? I don't like talking about games in hand because they don't really mean anything. As Bolton fans will find out this week, hopefully. But I'm happy to stick it on them, mate.
Jake,
I'm happy to stick it on them. I don't care.
Who's playing them though?
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for
Stevenage win.
Yeah, I'm going for a Stevenage win this week. I'll make no effort. I'm looking. Bolton fans have beaten one team away from home. They're not decent.
Well, they've won 3 away from home, but if we're going to be pedantic.
Oh, they've won 3 games all season away from home. That's cute. That's cute, isn't it? Big bad Bolton Wanderers winning 3 games away from home.
Jake,
January. Bring it on. Bring it on. I love them. I enjoy it. Honestly, Ben, if we were a pantomime, I'd be the villain, right? You're the nice guy, the bloke dressed in a dress, going, "Oh, hey up, whatever. Well, we love everybody." And I'm just like, "No, what? You lot deserve a dose of reality." And I'm going to give that to Bolton.
Jake, the last time that you did this on League One Live, it was 4 days before Fleetwood played. They nearly got relegated there. So after my week with Bolton fans, terrific fan base, love you.
Well, we're not going to get relegated this season. We're on 50 points now, so nearly. Imagine if we don't get if we don't get any points between now and the end of the season, we get relegated on 49. Look,
great day. Great day.
Look, still a massive win for Cardiff, right? In terms of what it means, it sets a statement out for the rest of the league that they can go to teams that rough them up and go and play, and they played their own style of football, and it worked yesterday. Bradford obviously scored the goal through Jensen Metcalfe, who's finding the score sheet more regularly now he's sort of playing a bit slightly further advanced because having Max Power in the team allows Jensen Metcalfe to go and maybe play a little bit more alongside the number 10s in Sarcevic. I know pointing back in the matchday squad yesterday is going to be absolutely massive for Bradford going forward. So, huge win for Cardiff. For Bradford, it's not the start you wanted to get off to. Obviously, they've got 3 massive games. They have this one. They've got Huddersfield at the weekend, which now becomes even tougher because obviously Lee Grant's been sacked. And then they come to Lincoln on the Tuesday after. If they were going to lose one of them, I think they would have preferred to have lost this one because obviously Huddersfield are the derby game, right? And Lincoln, they're currently battling for that automatic spot at this particular minute in time. So if you're going to lose any, this is my mindset. It will be the mindset of Bradford fans, maybe. Let Cardiff run off with it. Let Cardiff go. Cardiff are clearly the best team in the league. They'll go run off with the league. That's fine. That second spot is well up for grabs, and it is for Bradford. So I think if they can get 4 points from these 2 games, I think even 2 points, because then it just stops teams from closing the gap or extending that gap on them. So, I'm intrigued to know what Bradford fans think, but a huge win for Cardiff. And the best thing about this game, then, played in front of 21,000 people, 21,500 people in a League One game. Bradford City, proper club they are.
Yeah, 100%. And Cardiff's record going into this wasn't great against the current top 6. They'd only won 1, they'd drawn 1, and they'd lost 3. So we were saying about Cardiff, sometimes you can get at them. But they're starting to now put performances together, especially I think they won 8 in a row in the league at home. And I made a comment in the last League One Live that we did about 2 weeks ago, and I said something on the lines of it wasn't vintage for Cardiff. And what I meant by that is scoreline. I think that Cardiff are playing some really good stuff, but I don't think they're getting the results to show for it. And by that, they're getting the 3 points to show for it, but they're just winning 1-0 or 2-1 or by the odd goal. I think there is a pattern of play coming where they're going to win 2-3-4. I genuinely believe that because the way they're playing and how good they are, I genuinely think that they're going to start showing what they're all about. And I think because of the standard of League One this year, it's better at the bottom, but it's not as good as at the top in terms of points-wise. It's more competitive. I mean, they're currently averaging 2.1 points a game over 26 games, with 20 games to go. They're on for nearly 98 points over 46 games. That's an incredible achievement. Anything over 2 points a game is absolutely unbelievable. And this is a football club that have had issues in the last few years. Getting relegated can be hard to come back. They've won 17 games. They've got 22 points away from home. They've made the home form good. They've only lost 5 games. And every time they've had a little bit of a knock or a setback, they've come back and they've managed to just get out of it. And at the moment, that if they draw one, it's disappointing. I think they played Leyton Orient last week and they drew. It's a good point. Brisbane Road, it's a good point. And if you draw your away games and win your home games, you'll get 92 points. Simple as that. And obviously, this is the way. And big statement at Bradford. Bradford are one of those types of clubs under Alexander. I've always expected a bit of a bump in the road to come eventually. That I just think 2 or 3 games, if they don't win, I worry for them. I think they'll be in the playoffs. I'm not sure on them for the top 2. But I think it's a lottery. I think someone that you don't expect or you think that, tell you what, bit of a shock, could get that top 2. And you're looking at Lincoln, you're looking at Bolton. And how it feels, it's like all the seeds have gone out of the snooker, of the darts, and you're going to get a new winner of a tournament. That's what it feels like with that top two at the minute. So, yeah, big win for Cardiff City. Unbeaten in 6, only losing once in the last 11 matches, going back to November 8th after the Blackpool defeat away from home, and that's away at Lincoln. So, yeah, I think that it's a big win for them, especially on the road. And we'll continue with the trend of away day victories. Wigan Athletic 0, Bolton Wanderers 1. Wigan's woes go on, Jake. A disappointing afternoon, just 1 point above the drop, but just 3 points off Exeter in 13th. They've now lost 4 of the last 6. They've lost back-to-back games to Cardiff and to Bolton. Bolton have now won 3 in a row against their rivals, you could say. Again, what do you make of this one? Because Wigan didn't even offer a shot on target, 30% of the ball. And I mentioned Ryan Lowe's style of football will eventually take a turn for the worse. The results will start to turn. Because at this moment in time, I just feel they are winning 1 every 4 or 5 and he gets away with it. And at the moment, it seems that he's in a bit of a rut. Wigan fans aren't liking the style. He's arguing with supporters. Where do you stand on Ryan Lowe and Wigan Athletic?
It definitely feels like if it's not at boiling point already, then it could well be in the next couple of weeks if results carry on. Because, I'm not saying it's difficult really for Ryan Lowe because Wigan, I thought he was going to be backed in the summer, right? I thought they were going to back him way more. They were talking about big bids for a lot of players. They only ended up paying money for Dara Costello, I seem to think. And he's found it difficult really to get in this, to score goals consistently like he was at Northampton this time last season. But I don't know, on the style of play, he talks about having, being much more free flow and attacking football. I think the way they set up yesterday was extremely, extremely negative. It was like they were playing to contain a Bolton team. And this is the Bolton team, Ben, and I know I've tried to rattle Bolton fans in the comments, right, and it's worked to an extent, but this is a Bolton team that have been poor on the road all season, Ben. I know they've been better recently, but this is a Bolton team that on the road are fragile. I know they lost
at Peterborough, lost to Northampton, lost to Burton. Well, they've been poor all year away from home.
This is the point I was trying to make earlier, and you were like, they've won 3 games on the road. So,
but you said, oh, well done, they've won 1 game. Well, they've won 3.
Well, good on them. Well done, Bolton. You also lost to Port Vale in the League Cup, so in the Virtue Trophy. So, lol.
So we play Port Vale.
So the point is this, right? I think he set up negatively. I feel like Bolton are there to be got out at the minute in time, and Wigan just didn't go after them at all. They played defensive. I mean, no shots on target whatsoever is poor. And I speak to Charlie Keegan, obviously the chap who does your thumbnails and all your graphics. He's not particular. I think he's edging closer to wanting to get Ryan Lowe out, and you can understand why. Because if you look at this group of players, yes, they're not top 6 worthy, but they're certainly not 1 point off the relegation worthy. There's some good players in there. Like Carragher's been a decent League One player for a couple of years. Will Aimson has always been a decent League One level player. Matt Smith, Jensen Weir, Callum Wright, Costello proved that he could score goals at this league as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I think he's in a very similar situation to a lot of managers. I think he's got maybe 2 or 3 games to save his job because, I think Wigan could be looking for a new project in the next couple of weeks if it doesn't improve.
Yeah, I agree with you there. You look at Wigan's attacking metrics, 19th in terms of goals, 11th in terms of expected goals, and 17th on shots per game. That's a worry for me. They've only won 1 in the last 7, have Wigan. They've lost 4 of those. 1 shot on target in 2 games is pathetic. Quite frankly, nowhere near good enough.
And sorry to sue.
Sean Maloney got ridiculed for his style of football. And for me, Ryan Lowe has to... I'm a big believer any style of football has to win. But when it wins, it's like, okay. Yeah, it was a good win, that. But when they lose, it's in trouble. And I'm maybe watching a team similar to that at the minute, so I can relate. that I just think that every now and again they get a result and it's like, oh, well, he's not doing that bad. Because at one stage, after the Burton game, they were 3 points off the playoffs. So it's like, but that just shows you how poor League One was. But how poor Wigan were, because it's like they'll win a game and they'll just pop up 3 points from somewhere out of the blue, and like, when no one else is playing, they'll just get a win. And it's like, oh, okay. And it's like, that's an issue for me for Wigan. On Bolton, there's been too many false dawns for me this year. There's been too many where you've gone, right, that is a turning point. The biggest one was when they beat Wigan first time, early in the year. The second one was when they came away at Huddersfield and they were 1-0 down and they won 2-1. And they scored those 2 goals in the space of about a minute and a half, didn't they? Then they beat Cardiff and you thought, tell you what, this is it now. This is really it. And then even little things like, I can't remember who it was against, but I think they won a game like 1-0 or 2-1 in early December time. Mansfield away 1-0. You thought, tell you what, in tough conditions on a Tuesday night, that's a good win. Then they beat, was it Rotherham 1-0, I think, on Boxing Day. And you thought, wow, that's a big win for them. They scored late. I think, did they beat Peterborough at home as well? Another one that I think they beat 2-1. So there were signs. And we almost said that Bolton were at 70% all season when they were winning. That looked to be Bolton at the best, didn't it? And I think that with Ian Evatt, his football got questioned, didn't it, at times? But you knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to build out from the back with his back three, get the balls out wide, cross into the box, play for in midfield and try and pass his way around. With Schumacher, it is a bit like Ryan Lowe. I think that they go off instincts and I think they go off being the better team. And it almost feels like it's very instinctive at times. And they have it a bit of a buffer, Bolton, don't get me wrong, where there's no doubt about it. Bolton Wanderers have been struggling in this league. And I think it's mentally now. They've not won in 5 games before yesterday. And let's be honest, they had a tough Christmas period, didn't they? But because they were winning games, but just the Exeter game, the Mansfield game, the games I just mentioned. Then they lost to Mansfield at home, and that felt like the home record's gone because they were really good at home, but really poor away. And what happens is you can continue to do okay because you're winning your home games, and you might nick something away now and again, and you stay where you are. Once your 3 points stop at home and your away form continues to be the same, you'll struggle. And that's what kind of happened to Bolton for 2 or 3 games across the season. They lost the home form. And I think that I've said that I think it will happen to Lincoln at some point. I think it'll happen to Bradford at some point. I think Cardiff will be relatively fine because I think they're well clear anyway. And they are good away from home. So I don't think they're going to be bothered about that. The Northampton game 0-0 at home, the Doncaster 1-1, you thought, then the Peterborough 3-1. And I said on Twitter this week, I went, with Bolton fans, and I made a comment, and I got accused of being shady and being negative about Bolton. Well, if people watch my content and our content, I think that I've always felt relatively highly of Bolton. I've criticised them when I feel like they deserve to be criticised. But you said it perfectly well. Every time that Schumacher does something, if he makes a sub, if he makes a tweak, it is like this. They're on it. They puzzle it together. If it happens at Fleetwood, if it happens at Lincoln, if it happens at 95% of other football clubs that aren't as big as Bolton, it's not mentioned. Like Pete made a couple of tweaks yesterday. No one's mentioned it because it's Fleetwood. At Bolton, you've got more of a circle, you've got more fans on you, the more pressure, what their aims are. So you're going to get criticised. And it almost felt like that game yesterday, big derby game. They've just signed 2 keepers that they weren't keen on. Was it Stokes' 3rd choice keeper and Fleetwood's 2nd choice keeper? They weren't happy about that. Where's the ambition? If they'd have lost that game 1-0 yesterday, it would have been Schumacher out. Schumacher needs to go. This is pathetic. They'd have been level on points with Huddersfield, by the way, and Lee Grant has just been potted. And I would say there's similar ambitions with both football clubs. I think that Huddersfield probably had a bit of a better window than Bolton Wanderers because Huddersfield bought talent, ready-made talent, and Bolton kind of brought in players that can probably be better than Huddersfield's talent, but not quite ready yet over a 46-game season. And they had the experienced manager, you could say, that has been there and done it. If they'd have lost that yesterday, that 4,500 away and the Bolton Twitter space would have been in absolute tatters. And that's it. But because they've won it, you go and look at Bolton's Twitter, look at the feel-good factor at the football club. Look at the Schumacher reactions. Look at the likes on his interview. Look at the likes on his celebrations. Just go through all the comments. I've not read them, don't get me wrong, but you can just see how many comments. Look how good the feel-good factor is. And it's just a big sense of relief. And one win can change everything about the mood of a football club. It's a Derby Day win. It's 3 points. They didn't play particularly that well. Let's be honest about it. Was the performance any better than they've been recently? Maybe in parts, but in other games they've won, it wasn't up there. Let's be honest about it. They weren't anything out of the ordinary where you think that's promotion winning. But they got the job done and they won 1-0 against the rivals and they kept a clean sheet. Right, Wigan were poor, you can say that all you want. So, and what I'm trying to say is that they need to kick on now. That the issue is they don't kick on enough. And Stevenage away, tough place to go. Leyton, Orient at home, Burton at home. I mean, Burton Albion's a tough place, to go. They found that having them at home was a bit of a better advantage. You've got to really get. I think if you get 6 points out of that, 7 points, it's not disastrous. Try and get to 3 wins if you can. And all of a sudden, that win is you'll look back late this season. That game at Wigan, we weren't great. We won 1-0, won us promotion, or got us into the play.
Ben's disappeared by the looks of it. I don't know where he's gone.
That game got us into the playoffs. So.
Oh my God, where did you go? I just had to fill space, man.
So it's a big win for them. So yeah, I'm buzzing for the Bolton fans. They deserve it. I think it's very hard not to get too low, not to get too high when you win games of football. But they need to bounce back from this, and they need to kick on. And there probably will be a few bumps in the road along the way. There will be. But the Bolton Wanderers will lose games of football between now and the end of the year. They will. Let's be honest about it. If Bolton want top 2, in my opinion, I think they need to probably go and get in the excess of about 38 points from 20 games. I think they can afford to drop 20 to 22 points between now and the end of the year. If you can just go and win your next 3, all of a sudden you're thinking, just under 30. I think this is Bolton's biggest chance. And they've had a few. Big win for them yesterday. They need to kick on. I think they need a few additions. But it was great to see the fans yesterday. And they need to utilise that now. Because if they don't lose the next game, everything is lost for me.
Well, what more can I say? I can hear myself, but I don't know if that's... Thanks. That freaked me out a little bit. I've just been called arrogant by a Bolton fan. I find that hilarious. Look, you're asking Bolton, can they go and get... I don't, Ben, I've not even looked at the table to see how many points they are off us.
7.
And Bradford. 7.
4 off Bradford. Bradford in the hand.
Can Bolton go and get 7 or 8 more points over Lincoln over the next 20 games? You probably say they could, right? But they're so inconsistent, and that's the problem with Bolton. Is you don't. And I've said it all season, right? And I'm not saying it now to wind Bolton fans up, right? And you'll back me up on this, Ben. I am not fully sold on Bolton because there is a hiccup every now and again. Like you say, they have a really good period, like maybe now, where they're winning games, and then they'll have an absolute stinker. They lost away at Burton, and they got battered away at Burton. They've dropped a lot of points at home. They've drawn a lot of games at home. They lost to Mansfield at home. They lost to Peterborough away from home, where they just felt like momentum was getting on. I just don't think that. That's my one concern with Bolton, is that as good as they probably have the best squad on paper, they've got probably one of the best managers in terms of experience, whatever. But that pressure of that shirt, like you say, is so heavy. I've been speaking to Col about it, and there are a lot of these players. You think of. Let's take McAtee, right? That's at Bolton now. How good was he?
Was excellent when he came on yesterday, by the way.
Admittedly, but how good was he for Barnsley that season where he was at?
Look at Iran. If he's a 7 out of 10 for Lincoln,
we don't talk about that. So.
But the issue is, right? They make a mistake and they're crucified, and you get it at a big football club. But I think Brendan Weir is struggling. I mean, he struggled at times at Fleetwood. With stick. Go to Bolton, mate. Go to Bolton. It's an unbelievable place to go when you're winning, but when you're losing,
it's awful. It must be an awful play, and I get that their standards should be high, but just because we had this chat right before we came on air, Ben. Just because you're the biggest club doesn't mean you deserve to be at the top of the league. And ultimately, there's Bolton fans in the chat having a go at Lincoln because we're such a smaller club than them. But in reality, is Lincoln City are better than Bolton Wanderers at this minute in time on the pitch, and that's what matters, right? That is what matters. It might not be at the end of the season, but as we sit here today, we're 7 points clear of them, right? I'm not bothered. I'm not even bothered. But they just, I think they need to lower their expectations. Maybe not lower their expectations a bit, but they need to lay off the group of players because they're a very talented group and they know what they're doing. I just think you guys have, you're just so expectant, and I'm not quite sure big clubs have the right to be expected. I really don't buy all that. Personally,
can I just say, when you say you're not bothered.
You're now on the Bolton side.
No, I'm not. When you say you're not bothered,
you stick up for me all the time.
You're not bothered. This is what it reminds me of. I'm not bothered. Really, I'm not bothered. Try and convince yourself of that, mate.
And by the way, did he not just win the Worlds? See you next season, Bolton.
Today, genuinely, right? I'm going to say this now. If you win promotion, I might have to get on a flight to like Saudi Arabia or something. Genuinely, I'd be done. Genuinely, right? I think I'd rather go to the National League North than you get promoted.
Why would you say something like that?
Just how you'll be. I think you'll be.
I won't be. I won't be. Right. Look.
No. Right. Let's move on from Bolton. It's a big win for them.
Well done.
I still think the performance wasn't great. It is about confidence. We will come back to it later in the show if we've got time. 100 of you in the chat. If you could do us a favour, give us a like, subscribe. That'd be appreciated. We're trying to get to 18,500 subscribers. Burton 3, Huddersfield 1. The end of the league, Grant Rain. Will come back to that shortly. I mentioned on Burton the earliest goal that Huddersfield have conceded in 3 minutes 34. Again, Burton were excellent yesterday, and they seem to be excellent against the bottom side and the top side. It's just the sides middle of the road, you could say. 13 of their 30 points this year, Jake, have come against the top 6 sides. They are really, really effective up against the top sides. 4 points against Huddersfield, a point away, 3 at home. They beat Cardiff away from home. They beat Bradford away from home. And they beat Bolton at home. They are beaten currently of that top 3, 2 of them, both away from home. Next up is Lincoln City. Can they make it 3 out of 3? I do wonder. 5th home win of the season for the Brewers. Although the Brewers have been struggling and they've lost 6 of the last 11, they picked up 3 wins. And the element of that is winning games of football rather than drawing. You've won 3 and you can kind of lose a couple and afford to lose a few. Big win for Gary Bowyer's tricky Brewers. They go above Blackpool. They go above Northampton. They get another 4 point. They stay 4 clear of Doncaster, the 6th clear of Rotherham, and the 12th clear of Port Vale. Big win for the Brewers, Jay. Can they go 3 out of 3 on Thursday?
Not a chance. I think you know why. But look, a massive win for Burton, and I think this signifies everything that Gary Bowyer has done well at Burton, right? Like, they're so together. A great goal from Terence Van Kooten, Jake Beasley scoring a goal, which I think if he tried it again, I don't think he'd do it in another 100 goes. But I think listening to Gary Bowyer's thing, he walked off the pitch and said that might be the best goal that I've literally ever scored. So a really good win. Huddersfield struggled to live with them, right? They were very, very good off the ball. They took the moments, like we've heard from David so far. We heard from him last night about how well they played, and they allowed Huddersfield to have the ball by all accounts, and hit them on the counter. And that's what you can do against Huddersfield. You can be really good in the transition. Yes, they get themselves level through Alfie May, but it's not, it's not very long lived. So massive win for them because, yeah, this is a difficult month for Burton. We're talking about the fixtures that they've got. Obviously, they had yesterday. They've got to come to Lincoln. They've got to play. I think they play Cardiff, Bolton, Stockport as well in that run. Luton before and Wycombe as well before the end of Feb. It's a really, really difficult one. But there are signs that this Burton team are improving and that Gary Bowyer is getting there. And it's no surprise, Ben, that Burton are better with these bodies back, because we've been talking for months about how unfortunate they've been with all these impact injuries. Shade's had a spell out, Webster's out, JJ, the birthday boy, by the way, JJ McKiernan, happy birthday, young JJ. They've had these players out, and they are a massive miss. But having them back, they look more well-rounded. They look more effective. For a team that don't score goals, they scored 3 goals yesterday. Very well done for Burton, massive win, and it's forced the Huddersfield board to react in a manner in which we're not surprised by at all.
And we'll talk about that now. Big win for Burton, fully deserved.
For who? Sorry, for who? Big win for Burton.
Burton Albion. Great win for him. Great win. On Huddersfield, here we go again. I think it was 31 or 32 games into the season last year. I think it was middle of Feb, wasn't it, when Michael Duff got sacked, and they went 16 games unbeaten around October till January time. Won away at Wycombe, and then after that, I think they won 1 in 10. He got sacked, and he had 15 games to go. And I certainly thought, I didn't think he should have been potted at the time. The limped over the season, really. It was a disastrous end. And in the summer, they really, really kind of recruited big bodies for the football club. And it almost felt with Huddersfield that they were bringing in bodies for the sake of bringing in bodies, and they weren't really recruiting. It was, he's a good player, let's bring him in. Oh, he's a good player, I'll have you. And how it felt like, when you're at school and you're picking teams and you're just picking all the best players, and it's like you've got 8 strikers, but you've got like no one wants to play defence. That's how it feels. And I think they're a team full of egos. They're a massive team full of egos. And you go through the team, Murray Wallace and Joe Lowe. Joe Lowe's one of the best centre-halves in League One over the last few years with Wycombe. Murray Wallace played championship football with Millwall. Paulie Mumba was part of the 101 squad at Plymouth Argyle. Cameron Humphreys was arguably in the first half of last year was the best midfielder in the league, you could say at times. Ledson, outstanding at Preston over the years. Lyndon Gooch has won promotion with Sunderland. Alfie May's been the best striker in this league, no argument about it, over the last 5 years. Radulovic has been much better of late. He's 7 goals, 5 assists in 17 games. It's a really good contribution. Lars Sorensen was the best right back in the league over the last few years at Lincoln. They had Marcus Harness, Dion Charles. Josh Feeney's obviously highly rated at Aston Villa. They've had Joe Taylor that they've got rid of. And they basically have just stacked the squad full of good players. Don't get me wrong, Jack Watmore's another one that has played this season.
Sure.
Herbie Kane, Marcus McGuane, Anthony Evans. You just go, Marcus McGuane. It's ridiculous. Ruskin, Alves. You look through the squad, and there's players there. And you look at it, they started the season really, really well, did Huddersfield, and maybe fortunate with who they played. But you go back to August, they started the season quite well, didn't they? Reading, Leyton Orient at home, Reading away. They lost to Blackpool, but beat Doncaster on the Tuesday night, beat Stevenage, 4 wins from 5. They've lost to the Bees, haven't they? Barnsley, Blackpool, Bradford City away, Burton Albion now away. They've still got Bolton to play away from home as well, so it could be 5 out of 5. They beat Peterborough, and that put a big win, but then they lost to Bradford. The 0-0, then I think what's done it for him, it isn't really the losses, it's the draws. The Burton game, 0-0. They beat Exeter 1-0, they weren't pretty. Then they had that real slump in October where they played 3 games in the league. They lost to Stockport, they lost Bolton, and they lost to Wycombe. And that felt like ultimately that was the month that it was really toxic then, because they were, I think, were they 1-0 up against Stockport? No, they weren't. They were 2-0 down. It was 1-0 against Bolton, wasn't it? And then November, they started to get a little bit better. They beat Plymouth. That was a good win. They beat Mansfield away. Lost to Luton, which they weren't bad, but they weren't great. The Wimbledon game. So that was Wimbledon and Burton. You're thinking, at home, you should be winning that. Cardiff away, no shit. Northampton, another one. That's the third game that we draw. Wigan at home. That's 4 draws there that Huddersfield should be thinking we should win all of them. They had a good Christmas period. They beat Port Vale, beat Northampton, good points at Lincoln. The Exeter game, 5 draws now, by the way. Stockport, they lost in the last minute. And then Burton. So that's the 5 draws there, plus the defeats at Burton, the ones early in the year, like I say. And if they win all those 5 games, I know it's but maybe they're in the top 2. So we are coming back to small moments in the season where they've drawn games of football they shouldn't be drawing, dropping points in silly places. And you look at them, they just go out there and they're very instinctive, I think, Huddersfield. And they haven't got a settled 11. You look at Lincoln, I think that you can pretty much have 13 players, really, that you're arguing about. I think at Huddersfield, you're arguing over 21 players. And that's sometimes too much, I think. So it doesn't surprise me they made this call. I think they'd been got in the playoffs because of the sheer nature of the squad and how good it is. But realistically, it was a very bold appointment. The Northern football obviously got mentioned. Were you surprised at it? I think that it started to turn toxic. But again, they've not gone on this disastrous run. They've just gone on 2 or 3 game bad blitz, but always kind of got a win and result out of somewhere. But unfortunately, I think they've lost 8 of 13 away from home, which is horrific for a club like Huddersfield.
Yeah, it massively is for Huddersfield. And what I think it is, I don't think he's been sacked for league position, right? I think he's been sacked because they're so far off where they want to be. And this Huddersfield will make no omission. They spend a load of money. They've spent so much money since they've been back in the league. I mean, what other club can go and pay £3 million for a centre forward and go and loan him out 12 months later? There is no other club in this league that has them sort of finances and would be able to justify doing that financially. So, I think with Huddersfield, I think it's because the points difference between them and the top 2 at this minute in time. I mean,
all comps.
I mean, where are they? They're 10 points off top 2, and they've got a game in hand. Bradford have got 2 games in hand, so they could be Lincoln City. Not to pick at that Lincoln, but we talk about Huddersfield chasing second spot, right? Admittedly, they could be 13 points behind Lincoln, having played 27 games. Are Huddersfield going to get 13 more points than Lincoln in 19 games? It's going to be a tall order for Huddersfield to do that. So I can understand why they do it. Maybe try and get a bit of a fresh energy, a bit of a fresh impetus around the training ground. Because you mentioned it, Ben, and we spoke about it with Bolton. This group is talented. Like, you look at the players individually, they're talented. I know they've lost Leo Castledine, who was the big player, but they've got so many game changers in this team, right? They're talking about Marcus Harness, who's won the league got 1 promotion with Ipswich. You're talking about Leyton, who's been an accomplished championship midfielder. Yeah. These players that have played in the championship, some of them even higher. So, I hear that they're probably in talks to get Liam Manning in. Whether that's the right fit, I don't know, because like you say, Kevin Nagel, when talking about League One, Northern football, to me and you, Ben, Northern football is probably more get the ball out wide, get it forward quickly, and try and bounce on the seconds and try and dominate a game physically. Whereas Southern supporters, maybe someone like a Charlton or an MK Dons, Oxford, they're like passing the ball out from the back. I don't get all that.
Basically, Southerners are more patient. Northerners just want things quickly.
Correct.
Southerners are like, can I have some caviar, please? Northerners, hello, steak, pudding and chips, please. Love that loomy.
I'm glad you don't think I'm a Southerner, given that I'm in the Midlands, so I'm kind of in the middle, right?
I think you're close to being a Southerner. You have, after seeing your chocolate biscuit selection yesterday, you're kind of a bit more fancy.
Look, that was because Waitrose was going.
What podcast are you going on, Jake, to get them?
What
podcast are paying you money to go and buy them?
Don't know, because it's not my own. But so look, I think Liam Manning, whether it's the right stylistic fit, because we know Liam Manning plays such a possession-heavy based football. It's not worked at Norwich this season. He's got a really pretty poor record there. He got Bristol City into the playoffs last year. Admittedly, he had Oxford playing some good football before he up sticks and moved to Bristol City. So, I know the rumours came out today, Ben, and I want to talk to you a little bit about I don't know if we can or not. I know we've only probably done 3 games and we're 45 minutes in. Right, it's a shambles. But the news was they have tried and shortlisted Michael Sabala, and I've had this chat with a lot of Huddersfield fans. I've had this chat with a lot of non-Lincoln fans. Would Michael Scabala be an idiot to go to Huddersfield Town, in your opinion? Because I'm obviously biased. I think the only reason he'd go to Huddersfield Town would be to improve his pay packet, right? But if Michael Scabala can get Lincoln City promoted, there are way bigger and way better jobs than Huddersfield Town waiting for Michael Scabala. And also, the last manager that went to Huddersfield from Lincoln, when Lincoln were doing really well, we'll know about him. Where is he now? Colchester. I think you got to be careful what you wish for.
I think one thing I'll say, because I do want to move on quickly, but I think that, I mean, this is no disrespect to Lincoln at all. I think one thing you've got to remember, and it's going back to the Bolton argument, Huddersfield are in a similar boat. If he goes in there now and loses his first 2 games, wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Correct.
If he lost his next 2 games at Lincoln, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I think
I'd be on at him because he'd lost the
Let's be honest about it, right? Over the course of a season, if he won 5, drew 3, lost 2 at Lincoln, right? Which is 18 points, 1.8 points a game, which is, relatively speaking, about 81 points, 82 points. That'll get you 4th, I would imagine, maybe 3rd, probably 4th. The Stockport kind of numbers. At Lincoln, wow, what a job. What a job you are doing. Like, unbelievable. You are talking manager of the season, right? And I know he's got better players, but I don't almost think that's necessary. I think that Lincoln have a good squad as it is. I think Lincoln have a good 11. I think Huddersfield have better players. I think that Lincoln have a better system. You know what they are, the better coach, blah, blah, blah. And I think that all of a sudden you're going from players that are 7 out of 10. You're coaching talent now. You're coaching 9 out of 10. And you're thinking it can be a bit more strange. I know this probably doesn't sound right, but it's harder. Big pressure. If he did that at Huddersfield, Thomas Dean is not good enough. And I think that before yesterday, I think Huddersfield had won 5, drawn 3, lost 2 of the last 10. I think on the last show we were saying, and that's not good enough because you've got our performances. And Scabala's football at times isn't brilliant, if I'm honest with you. Like, it's okay at times. But you need football. For me, I don't think Scabala is the right man for Huddersfield Town. Genuinely, I don't think. I'm not just saying because I want him to stay at Lincoln. I think that he suits a middle-of-the-road team at the minute that are overachieving. I don't think he's right to go and have to go and do it. I think that he suits being.
He definitely could do it, though.
I think he could do it. I don't think middle of the season is right for him. I think he'll get eaten up. Genuinely. And I think that at the moment, it feels very much like Darren Moore-esque at Doncaster. He's done a good job, Scabala, but he's not finished it.
Donny didn't get promoted that season, so
Darren Moore didn't finish it. He left off. Didn't he leave halfway through the season? He left in February, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So for me, Darren Moore, I argue with that. You said he did a good job at Doncaster. He didn't finish it. He did okay for him. He got a few results. Anyone can get a few results. Like, let's be honest about it. But you've got to. If he got Lincoln into the playoffs this year and left the football club at the end of the year, he's done the best job at Lincoln for 4 or 5 years. I would argue
he'll go down as one of the most successful managers in our history.
100%. So that's one thing you've got to say. But we'll move on because this isn't a Lincoln City podcast, believe it or not. Although you have got 2 Lincoln fans. Sorry, a Lincoln and a Fleetwood fan on it. Excuse me. Stevenage, they lost away at Exeter. We'll go Exeter first. Big win for Exeter. 23 of 33 points of Exeter have come at home this year. The Grecians have won 7 of 12 at home. They've won the last 4. This is the best run since they won 5 in a row back in League 2. And they're starting to make St James's Park an absolute fortress, aren't they? Which is always nice to see. They've kept a clean sheet in every single win at home, albeit but one. That was a 4-1 win against Blackpool. That was literally a consolation. That was a great win. Great response to the Man City. Ongoing because you saw what Salford did in League 2 last year. They started this really well, got on a good run.
Was that 8?
They lost 8 on BBC against City, and then they lost, I think, the next 4 or 5. So it can easily happen. And I think it's happened to many a team when they've been battered. It's like the next couple of games is you lose that 2-0. So you're thinking, Exeter sliding down the league a little bit. So, yeah, big win for Exeter. I thought they were excellent, and he deserved the win. Jaden Wareham getting another goal for his cause, and so effective at home are Exeter City. And I think that they can nick results away. They've won at Wycombe, Lincoln, and where was the one they won 1-0? Was it Wimbledon? They won 1-0, I think. I think they won. Yeah, it was. And then, so they picked up 33 points. I think they're only another 20 away from safety. It almost feels with Exeter, they got a bad run. I don't think they've done that this year. They've won 5 of the last 6, if you want to go back that far, or unbeaten in 7 at home. So good win. I want to ask you about Stevenage, Jay. Now, when they were doing really well, they were top of the league, I think, after they beat Luton, I think, or in and around then, on the 4th of October.
They
and obviously
when they beat Posh, didn't they?
Yeah, but obviously So since then, they've had 14 games. So they played 24 games. Now they went top of the league, I think, after 18 games of playing Posh, and that was only about 6 weeks ago. My worry was they don't have the squad, first of all, and B, they played 18 games, I think, in 20 weeks. Well, the next 20 weeks, you've got to go and play another 28 games. You've got to do it again, but for another 10 games. That's not sustainable, I don't think. And why Stevenage was so good in the first 12. They'd won 8, they drew 1, they lost 3. They'd scored 17, conceded 8. So they were scoring at a rate of nearly 1.5 a game and conceding at a rate of about 0.6 a game. And they weren't conceding chances at home. Now, those goals conceded wasn't sustainable because they would. You can be tight defensively, but you're not going to do it long term. You're not going to be that good over you. There's going to be a bump eventually. Over the next 12, well, the last 14, you could say, they've only scored 10 goals across the last 12 games, which is an issue. So the goals have dried up by 60%, you could say. My issue is they've doubled the amount of goals conceded. So they're still not conceding that many, but they're now conceding at a normal rate. And what's happening is they are not scoring, they're not creating stuff. And Ravel's football is pretty minging, isn't it? To be honest about it. It's
horrific.
It's not to lose. And when it's winning, it's like, Ravel again. Oh, we've got to play like this. We don't care as long as we win games of football. Similar with Evans, similar with so many managers. But now it's going on a bad run. They've won 2 of the last 14. They've lost 6, they've drawn 6. And they got hammered yesterday. And they've been losing by the odd goal. I think this hammering has been coming a little bit.
Do you think they're getting found out, Ben? Because
I think they're being found out, and I think that now sides are breaking them down.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're relying on that defensive solidity, and they're the same players. It's the same system. It's just teams are wising up around it, and they're just able to figure out a way to get past it. And ultimately, these are players that are playing in League One, right? They're bound to make mistakes at some point. They're not going to continue to run at the same level of performance in which they were at the start of the season. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Farley's reaction. He posted a reaction, didn't he, straight after the game? I don't know if you've seen it, Ben, but
I think I've seen him.
Yeah, it's upsetting because I love Farley and he's so enthusiastic, and I love how he's so energetic about Stevenage. And I was talking to him on Thursday night, and he's still banging the drum for Stevenage to finish in the playoffs. But on the evidence of yesterday's performance, you'd have to say that Stevenage look like a long way off a top 6 team. They look more like a bottom 6 team at this particular moment in time.
They look like a bottom 6 side all year that was just overachieving.
Look, massive credit to Exeter, Ben. I love the fact as well that you've completely skirted around the third goal scorer because I don't think you'd know how to pronounce it. I will give you a go.
Hang on.
I will give you a go.
Let me have a go.
Can you see why I said that now?
Tootie Roth.
He's not a bag of Tootie mate.
Tootie Roth. Where's Phil when I need him?
His name? Let me get his first name. Where is he?
Oh, there was one that Phil always takes that plays for Evans. Dylan Lepinoff.
Oh yeah, him.
Dylan
It's so obvious when you say it.
And when you said that, I went, mate, I think it's Sam Bombay.
I reckon it's Tatarov, right?
Tatarov.
I'll see if I can catch up with Ivan on Thursday night, and I'll ask him how to pronounce it because he's obviously Ukraine under-21 international. I'll ask him.
Yeah, look. International, by the way. International.
International. Have you got internationals, haven't you, Fleetwood?
Yeah, we've got a Guyana international.
They are then. Yeah, that's big time, isn't it? Guyana. Probably the same population as living in St Anne's, that place. Yeah, look, a huge win for Exeter. Stevenage, they just feel off it, don't they? They just feel, I don't know, almost distracted on what they're looking at, I suppose, in many ways. They're chasing down the top, and they've signed Harry Cornick. Right, I had this chat on Thursday with them. I don't think Harry Cornick is the type of player that they need. I don't think he's, the reason why Harry Cornick needs 3 or 4 chances to score a goal, right? Stevenage aren't making 3 or 4 chances a game. I mean, I thought they were very toothless again yesterday, and it shows by them not scoring. So, I don't know. I just feel maybe the motivation's not there. They've maybe seen the league table and gone, oh, well, we're actually a long way off it now. I don't know if that plays a factor, but yeah, it's a really tough afternoon for them. And like you say, it's the most deflated I've seen Matt Farley, and I'm not really there for it. I much prefer to see him bouncing around, and hopefully on Tuesday night, bless him, we can get them back to where he was, because he'd be absolutely bouncing off the floor if they beat Bolton, by the way. But yeah, I mean, credit to Exeter, Ben. That home form is what's going to keep them upright. I know we've had lots of chats before about Exeter probably going down, but genuinely, like, that home form is going to keep them up, isn't it? They're so strong there, and whether it's they use the long distance thing to really maximise their effect, it's the atmosphere, that big bank when he gets going is, I'm sure. But you've been to Exeter like I have. It's such a tough place to go when they're behind the team.
Nice.
Yeah, so have I. I'm going again on a Tuesday night this season. Can't wait.
I don't get to go this year.
I think you can take that as a positive, because it's a long way for you. Well, you'd be excited, but yeah, look, a really good win for Exeter, and for me, it just shows they've got enough to stay up.
100%. We'll rattle through the games, but there's 130 of you in the chat now, which is the most we've had in for quite a while. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because over 50% of people that watch this League One Live aren't subscribed yet. So make sure you go down there, press subscribe, press a like. That'll be appreciated. Leyton Orient 3, Reading 1, Ballard again. Olé, olé. Another hat-trick. Best striker in the league, Jake. 15 goals, 2 assists, 20 games.
Comfortably.
He could have had 6, couldn't he, at the post? He had 2 disallowed. Big win for Leyton Orient. Reading have been... We've given them their Matty flowers recently, haven't we? Where we praised them, Marry up to 10 for the season in all comps. But Ballard, again, the difference. Big win for Leyton Orient. Unfortunately, they just don't back it up enough, do they? But up to 16th now, 32 points. If you can get a few wins going over the next few weeks, Bolton away is a tough place, Doncaster away, Port Vale at home. You can maybe get 2 wins from that. I think they'll feel in a good place. Big win for Leyton Orient against Reading at home.
Yeah, a massive win for them, and it will. It's probably a really poorly timed hat trick from Dom Ballard, because he's finding the net regularly, he's scoring goals regularly in the transfer window. If you were Leyton Orient, I tell you what though, mate. If a team of the champ offer silly
how long
money
is his contract, by the way?
He's got 3 years left, right? I think.
Can I also just say as well? Is it? Do you think it's Ballard? And I made a TikTok on this before. Do you think it's Ballard, or do you think it's something to do with Richie Wellens? Because if you look at it, Charlie Cowman in his career, bar that last season at Leyton Orient, has done nothing. Let's be honest, right? He's pretty much not done anything, right? His best season was at Leyton Orient a few years ago, under Wellens, where he scored 7, right? Ian Doyle at Swindon. Jerry Yates at Swindon. Charlie Cowman, another one. This is another one. Ballard
like
again.
Grant McCann, isn't it? With centre forward sometimes.
Oh, who was it? He scored 18 goals. I can't remember. It was at Hull when the season they went up. But
was it
McGuinness, yeah, that's it. Obviously, he did well at Wigan for a bit, but it's something about the way they play, and he prioritises strike. Holloway's the same at Swindon with Grinion. So, yeah.
Yeah, look, I think it's yeah, you want to keep a hold of him because he's clearly the best centre forward in the league, right? And
Salak is up there, but he's in a much better team.
I think they're different type. I'll tell you what, I'd love to see a front two of Salak and Ballard next season. Like, you imagine if Cardiff get promoted and try and.
Obviously, that's nothing on Street and Draper, is it?
Well, no, they both scored yesterday, didn't they? They both did the job. Did Salek score yesterday? No, he didn't. So,
can I just say, right? Have you just come and thought tonight is unbearable?
I'm not trying to make this about Lincoln. You are. All right. You need to stop that, Mr. Lincoln City big fan 101.
Why do I feel like you're trying to do conversion therapy?
You're already converted, mate.
Yeah.
You've got ready. You've worn more Lincoln shirts than half the people that live in Lincoln. So, but yeah,
the people that live in Lincoln.
Valid. Still a really really good win for Orient. I thought they were much the better team. Limited Reading to only one shot on target, that being the goal from Jake Marriott. A really nice goal though from a Reading point of view. A lovely ball from Kamari Doyle to Marriott, who, as we know, Ben, we've said it for a lot of weeks this season. He is lethal in front of goal, and it sometimes just takes that one club, doesn't it, to really kickstart someone's career. And it looks like Jack Marriott has got back to the sort of levels that we saw at Peterborough.
He was all right. Wrexham and Fleetwood, to be fair, he wasn't bad, was he? But
he wasn't flashy.
He was at Peterborough.
Yeah.
Still scored goals, but not as regularly.
I even think Derby Jack Marriott was actually very decent. That team.
The playoff goal against Leeds.
Yeah. So look, a really good win for Orient, and I don't think they'll be giving their season up anytime soon. Obviously, only 7 points outside the playoffs with a game in hand, so that could knock them down to just 4 points behind Huddersfield, who I don't think are the bar right now, given where they are. So yeah, I think it's been it's maybe not gone to plan, but they've got individual quality all over the pitch. And when you've got Don Ballard in your team, you always stand a chance. And another big shout out for Ollie O'Neill, another goal, another couple of assists. He's quietly going about his business in terms of creating chances and scoring goals.
He goes through patches, Ollie O'Neill, doesn't he?
Right, you know how big of a fan I am of Ollie O'Neill, and I have been since they signed him. So
go on.
No, you carry on.
No, I know you're a bit of a fan, but we'll come back to that quote in a minute.
Yeah, a big win for the O's.
Stockport 3, Rotherham 2. Rotherham, they call me Mr. Bomb. 007. No wins, no draws, 7 defeats for the Millers. We've raised concerns about Matt Hamshaw for quite a while, and when we did, they went on was it a 9-game or a 10-game unbeaten run early in the year?
9, wasn't it? 9.
It was masked by draws, wasn't it? But they won away at some good places, didn't they? There was an away win. Was it Mansfield? I think they won it. They won it. They were very, very good for a number of games, and they got some away wins, which was good. But they've only got 8. I think it's 8 points now. 2 wins, 2 draws. The rest defeats. Since they've been back in League One, they played 36 away, got 29 points, 7 wins, 8 draws, 21 defeats. And even back into the Championship, I don't think they won in 23. So they've literally won 23 in 59 away. And you could even go worse than that. I'm worried for this Rotherham side. Sam Nombe is their only real source of threat. Back in the team the other day, 6 goals in 10 for him, which is an unbelievable goal return, by the way. 7 defeats in a row. Wimbledon and Northampton, Exeter to come this month. Are we under the imagination if Rotherham don't win any of those games of football? Do you think that could be Rotherham in League 2 next year?
I think it's certainly going to be Matt Hamshaw out of a job, isn't it? If he's not picking up results anytime soon. And yesterday, again, I know they lost to a Stockport county team. They scored 2 own goals. They did 2/3 of the work for them. We have to mention the goal, don't we, Ben? Probably the funniest goal that I think I might have ever seen. I'm sure you've seen it, where poor Olo is trying to get out of the way of a goal kick from Ben Henchcliffe, and he smacks him right on the arse and leaps over him and goes.
Funniest goal this season, would you say?
Oh, it's on a level of was it Sam Cosgrove against Wycombe a couple of years ago?
Yeah. Where the keeper.
Where Max Street was trying to time waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was good to see that happen against Wycombe because they deserve it. But Stockport I have an issue with, so I'm not coming after Stockport. The big thing for Rotherham, Ben, is they've got Sam Nombe back in the team now. And for me, if Rotherham are going to have any chance of staying up, they're going to have Sam Nombe, or Sam Nomble, as we affectionately call him, finding the net consistently. And even though they lost yesterday, it's a good sign for them that he's back on the score sheet, because You look at those teams that they're going to be competing with. Port Vale, have they got a lateral goal scorer? Doncaster, not particularly. Northampton haven't. Burton, Blackpool having Fletcher and ex-Jeasley, obviously. Wigan don't. Wimbledon don't. Obviously, later on, have Don Ballard and Barnes have Keeler Dunn, and then Plymouth have Lawrence
Wigan have just signed Joe Taylor.
Joe, don't get me wrong, Joey Taylor can score the goals. So maybe
Fletcher, obviously, like you say.
That's what I mean. So they need Sam Lombe to step up. And if we see Rotherham United sell Sam Lombe in this window, then I think you can see that's them giving up, because yesterday, pretty toothless despite Sam's goal and obviously the own goal as well. Defending really poor, obviously. A bit unfortunate for the own goals, but I mean, you go to Stockport, you give yourself an opportunity, you score 2 goals, and then the last goal is just so sloppy from a Rotherham point of view, allowing Brecky Anderson, the opportunity to put the winning goal in. So yeah, look, I think if Rotherham aren't picking those points up in the next couple of weeks against teams that are down the bottom of the league with them, it's tough to make a solid argument. I mean, I think the issue with Rotherham, Ben, is that they're so outdated. They do things the wrong way because they've not been brought into the 21st century. They're owned by Tony Stewart, who, great, massive respect for him, right? He's a local fan, bought his boyhood club, and he's trying to do things the right way. But he's trying to do things the old school way. Manager, they've not got a director of football. They've not got anybody in those positions where you think about sporting directors, whatever. They're not moving forward with the times. And maybe for Rotherham to go to League Two, where they've not been for a long time now, might do them the world of good, might modernise them a little bit, maybe get under a new ownership, maybe get a head coach in rather than a manager. A big cultural reset, I think, is needed at Rotherham United.
There's so much you can do with a football club. It's not the biggest of football club, but there's certainly a 7, 8, potentially up to 10,000 fan base there. I certainly think on a good day. So, yeah, I think that they just need to get things a little bit right. Stockport, again, good win for them. And we've mentioned that they haven't been great this year, but they still won half the games, and they won back-to-back games for the first time since October, where they went top of the league against Exeter and Port Vale. Rotherham haven't won a game of football since November the 8th, they beat you. And you look at what's happened since then, how you've kicked on and they have crumbled. And sometimes in football, you can lose a game and things can happen. And yeah, but for Stockport, they haven't been at the greatest, but I think that says everything you need to know, that they still won half the games. They're at 45 points, so 4 points behind second. And now we just need to see Stockport kick on. And that's it. There's an opportunity for Stockport, Bolton, Lincoln. I think that's it. I genuinely think that's it, unless Huddersfield do something superlicious, apologous. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure that's how you say it, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Why not?
Yeah. I'll let you cover this one, Jake.
Thanks, mate.
John Brady was in a bit of a brawl at the end of the game, wasn't he? Mansfield 3, Port Vale 0. Port Vale did have the chances first half. Devante Cole struck a post. Brown had one that was unlucky, maybe should have scored. And then second half, Mansfield scored 3 second-half goals. 4 wins in a row for Mansfield Town, takes them up to 10th. 4 points off the playoffs, 35 points. After I think they lost 5 of the previous 6, they've now backed it up. They've won 10 games of football this year. They're in a positive goal difference. They're a whopping 6 points off the relegation places. Life's going good right now at Field Mill.
You're absolutely right, mate. Stags are flying. The only bump in the road for Mansfield is Jamie McDonnell being recorded and being sold to Oxford United today, actually. I think that's a major concern, because he has been so good for them in that central midfield. He's dominated a lot of games and allowed their forward players to go on and secure points for them. So they'll have to get that replacement right. But still, they brought in a couple of lads over the last couple of days, haven't they? Victor Adebayejo and Ollie Inrow, who's made a really big splash in men's team football. 2 goals on debut. I mean, I'm sure you've seen one of them, Ben, where he curls it from the left into the top right-hand corner like a proper decent professional footballer. I mean, he's at Spurs, so he's clearly got the technique. But yeah, they're going well at the moment. Stags, they are consistently winning. Is that 5 wins in a row in all comps?
Yeah.
They're 3-0 over Port Vale. I mean, Port Vale don't make it easy for teams. They can be difficult to break down. So yeah, I can't give Mansfield enough credit as much as I can physically give them, given how much I don't particularly like them. But still, look, a really good run of form for Stags, and Nigel Clough has got this team ticking. And look, again, we're speaking about Leyton Orient. This Mansfield team are in a stronger position, 3 points further down the road, with 3 games in hand on Huddersfield and only 4 points behind them. This is a Mansfield team that, once they get to level points of Huddersfield, could be 5 points clear of them. So Stags are going about their business nicely. Port Vale, look, I don't know about.
What do you think of John Brady?
I quite like the appointment, because I think that even if they go down, John Brady is the manager that can bring them straight back up, which is what Port Vale do. He's got history of doing it for Northampton, hasn't he? They came close in that season where they lost, where Scunthorpe basically forfeited the game. Absolute criminal.
All right.
To Bristol Rovers, who now.
Sorry, can I just say something? Northampton fan Jake speaking.
Yeah, look. But look, they came up the next year, and fair credit to John Brady. And but Ben, John Brady did a good job at stabilising Northampton.
Yeah,
Northampton would, John Nolan walked, so John Nolan, he's in the rookie. John Brady walked, so Kevin Nolan could attempt to run, but at the minute he looks like he's running with a pulled calf because they're back in the bottom 4. But still, he's done a good job. I think he's a good man for Port Vale. I think he's a decent short to mid-term replacement. I think he'll do his best at firefighting, try and get them to stay up this year. If it doesn't work, you imagine they'll have a big budget in League 2 again next year to go again. In terms of, what did you make about him going over to the fans yesterday? I thought it was quite a good thing for him to do. I think that takes a lot of courage, because not many fans would go over to I think it's going to win over a lot of people, because the way he spoke, for me, he told it as it is. He said first half, I thought we were good, and they were, in credit to Port Vale. And I know they have been good at the start of games before and not taking anything. That's a similar sort of theme. But second half, they just didn't win the duels, and that was the reason why they lost the game. And I think he's honest about that. And I think Port Vale fans will respect his honesty, and I think they'll get behind him. So, because look, Port Vale, we like the fans of Port Vale, Ben.
Yeah, I think.
I know you went on a podcast with some Port Vale fans this week, didn't you?
I did. It was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think that, let's see if he loses 3 or 4 in a row and see if he does it then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
I think Lee Johnson did it at Fleetwood, and he was doing this and this, and fans were slacking him off for 90 minutes. Comes down, he's, Lee! And it's like, really? I think it's a right appointment, if I'm honest with you. I think it's a really good appointment. I think it's steady Eddie. They're going to go down, for me. Is it horrible saying that? Yeah. I think they'll need 34 points from a possible 63 available, 66 available. They're going to have to average a point and a half a game. Well, they've got half of that, what they've needed already. So they're going to have to basically be 200 times better than they were, which is not hard, don't get me wrong. But I think that, Port Vale are a great football club, but they get it so wrong every time they come up. Mansfield, good win for them. Wimbledon 0, Doncaster 1. This felt a big game, actually. Although Wimbledon won recently, I think that's only 1 win in 11, and they're up against a side that have 1 win in 17. Doncaster have been struggling, and Doncaster had failed to win any of their last 9 league games. And I watched them on Tuesday night, Doncaster, and I thought they were excellent. They're much a better side. I think they'd been disappointed it wasn't 7. If we're being pedantic, I thought it could have been 11 on the basis of the chances against fairly pathetic, abject, weak Fleetwood side that they bullied, and it felt like that was a big win for them. It just gave them a bit of confidence to go into the league with. And again, big win for them. Their season is off moments. It's off late drama, normally involving the main man, Owen Bailey, who I think one of the biggest talents in the division. And you go through their whole season, and it's the Owen Bailey show. And, he scored the winner against Rotherham. How big could that be? He scored the winner away at Port Vale, and the only shot on target. How big could that be? Against Mansfield Town, he scored a 96th minute winner. How big could that be? Then you're just going into, obviously after that, they've been so poor. The Bradford game, they were brilliant in. And obviously Molyneux was on show. Gibson had a good game that day. But yesterday, 97th minute winner, I think it was, header on against Wimbledon, who have been struggling. I don't think they've won in the last 7 now at home. And they played some side you'd expect them to try and get something from Wigan, Port Vale, Mansfield, Stevenage, Doncaster yesterday. That's 4 or 5 I've just mentioned. How big could those wins be for Doncaster later down the season? It just keeps them alive. 3 points adrift, and that's 4 points in the last 2. They've been playing well in games. That's 5. In the last 7, they scored first in 5 of them. So they are scoring first. They're just not seeing out games, and they're probably doing it for 70, 75 minutes. They're a competitive side in between the boxes. They just don't do enough in between both boxes at times. And you look at the fixtures in January: Wigan at home, Leyton, Orient at home, Bradford away. If you can go and get 4 points out of that, that's good. You go into February, Wycombe, then you've got Huddersfield at home to come in the league, Rotherham away, Cardiff at home. I think they can really test anyone at home if they can get just the odd points. I think anyone out the bottom 4, I think Doncaster are just the most at the moment to get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those games for the rest of this month. Wigan battered Doncaster 3-0 at the Brick Community Stadium, and they got battered 4-1 down at Orient. Doncaster, I seem to remember fairly early. Don Ballard hat trick potentially, might have been his other hat trick.
That was in white ball season.
Yeah, I remember. I saw your TikTok about that earlier.
White ball, yellow ball, white ball season. Yellow ball
until April.
2-1,
aren't we? Yeah, look, a great win for Doncaster. Admittedly, it's poor keeping, isn't it, from Nathan Bishop in the Wimbledon goal. If he's going to come for it, he's got to get it. He's got to be commanding, but he gets swept aside, and there is Owen Bailey, who is having a season, of his life, really, isn't he? He's writing his own script. It feels like at this particular juncture of the season, he is him, according to Doncaster Rovers fans, and he does give them a little bit of hope. Now they're only 3 points behind Blackpool with a game in hand. Yes, they've got to go and win that game in hand, but the momentum of winning this it feels like a 6-pointer, even though Wimbledon were quite a long way above the bottom 4 as of yesterday, doesn't it? Because Wimbledon, they're on that tricky spiral towards the bottom 4. They are falling at quite an alarming rate of knots. But a huge win for Doncaster, nice and tight, away from home, 1-0. Like you say, Ben, best scoreline to win away from home is 1-0. Clean sheet, last minute goal, 90+9. And it will give Doncaster fans a little bit of belief and a little bit of hope going into the rest of the month. They're you imagine they maybe need a couple more players, a couple more defenders, get some players back fit. But look, they've got obviously 3 points guarantee when they play Bradford, because they always beat Bradford at the end of the month. Look, a really good win for Doncaster. Wimbledon, Ben, it feels like they are outside shouts for relegation, but you look at that form and it probably has them as the third worst team in the league over the last 10 games, and that's no coincidence, is it really?
No, it's not at all. 4 games to go here on League One Live. Barnsley 2, Blackpool 1. Barnsley 7 points off the playoff, Jake.
Yeah.
We've got 5 games in hand on Huddersfield Town now. With a small squad, Keeler Dunn was ill yesterday.
Ill.
Yes. However, they've got a lot of games of Barnsley to come. I think in the next, from Saturday onwards, in the space of about 4 weeks, they've got 9 games to play, which is everything you need to know. Big win for them. David McGoldrick doubled his goal tally for the season. First win in 5 for Barnsley. 19 points in 11 home games for Barnsley. Big win against Blackpool, who are now sliding down the table after 3 wins in a row and a draw before that, 3 defeats in a row, and they are just now level on with the bottom 4 with a game more played. How in trouble are Blackpool, Jake?
I don't think they're in trouble at all. I think they have got the quality. I mean, yesterday, I know Ian Evatt came out post-match and had a bit of a hissy fit, didn't he, after the game? But I think the signs since Evatt came in proved to me that Blackpool are going to be fine, and I think they will be. I think Blackpool will score enough goals. I think they'll win enough games between now and the end of the season to be above that dotted line and have a go next season at trying to crack the top 6. And look, well, you've got a player like Ash Fletcher in the team who's scoring goals at a consistent rate, like he is. I
15
think
now, isn't it? 12, 12 is last 15.
I think I think you can really rule them out of the bottom 4 race. I know how close they are, but they've got the quality in abundance. You look at that team yesterday that played some very, very good names in there. I mean, admittedly, it doesn't help when your goalkeeper does what he does in the last minute. But fair play to David McGoldrick. Look, I thought he was finished a long time ago. I was very surprised that he stepped back up the leagues. Obviously, going back to Notts County, his boyhood team. I thought that's where he was going to retire and see his days out in League Two. But fair play to him. He stepped back up under his mate and former teammate Conor Hourihane, and in the absence of DKD yesterday, he massively stepped up. Really, really stepped up. And Reyes Chloe didn't have his best game, but McGoldrick did, and 2 really good finishes. One in the last minute, really nice finish across the goalkeeper, and look, a really big 3 points. Goodman had a really good debut in goal, I thought. Nice little dig at the Huddersfield fans in his post-match. I don't know if you saw that. Talking about it's the last time I've actually seen some proper limbs, which was nice. But yeah, look, with Barnsley, it's difficult, isn't it? Because they're in a bit of a false position because they've not played as many games. But do you trust this? They've got 5 games on Huddersfield. Do you trust this Barnsley team to go and win all 5 of them?
No, absolutely not. They've not got the squad. The game in hand, bear in mind, they've got on the Tuesday night games, Cardiff, which everyone plays in. They've got Northampton at home, which you'd fancy them to get 3 points. And Stevenage away is a tough game. They struggled in the past. Peterborough at home to come in February. And I mean, in February, which is a small month, they play Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Saturday. That is absolutely grim. And it's in March as well. Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Saturday. I mean, then they play Friday, Monday, Saturday, Saturday, Saturday. So it starts to calm down towards the end of the year, as you hope it is. But no, I don't. I think Blackpool will be fine as well. Be interesting that. I want to know how proud you were yesterday. And I know that you try and be secret about it, but you must have been so proud that your boyhood football club scored a goal yesterday. Northampton 1, Wycombe 2, Jake.
Yeah, I was delighted for them. Absolutely. When they got the goal notification, I was only one celebrate. They were only one of the 1,500 that Lincoln fans we took yesterday to Luton. I was the only one celebrating. Yeah, look,
it's like Northampton. Bottom 4 now, no winning 5.
Yeah,
lack of goals.
Yeah, I think you've got to, haven't you? I think you've got to. I know I'm probably going to get stick for it because I have defended them so much this season, and it's completely warranted. I will stand up and take that. But yeah, yesterday I thought they were okay. I didn't think it was their worst performance of the season. I think they did well to fight back from going a goal down. Good header from John Guthrie. I think that's his first goal in 18 months or near enough 18 months. So good for him to get back on the score sheet. But Wycombe have got a quality side, Ben. Like, let's be fair. Like, Fred Onyedinma on his day can be the best winger in this league. The way he dances around, and Northampton do concede soft goals. Like, you look at a lot of the goals they've conceded. I mean, you don't have to go any further back than Boxing Day, when they lost 5-1 away at Burton. And look at, we did. Do you see the goals in that game? Soft as anything. So. And they've conceded, before David calls me out and says, "Oh, you're only talking about the Burton game," but they've conceded soft games in pretty much every game that they've conceded in this season. The Reading one, it was a couple of soft goals as well. Really, really poor, and they need bodies in. They really need. He needs a little bit of help because he turned to that bench yesterday. Not a lot of huge amount of quality coming off it, apart from Sam Hoskins and Kamari Swire, who again is still adapting to first team football at this level. Need a goal scorer. That's the thing with Northampton, don't they? You look, like we said about every other team around, and they've got goal scorers. Sam Nomble, Ash Fletcher, whatever. They needed someone to help, and Ethan Wheatley being recalled isn't a massive help for them. However, I will give a huge amount of credit to Wycombe. They've been very consistent, been very good since Michael Duff has come in. Probably one of the top 3 or 4 teams since that moment in time. They've got a very nicely assembled squad. They'll be thinking like themselves, like Mansfield, like Leyton, Orient, like a Plymouth maybe. There's a spot in that playoff for them, given how the inconsistencies of the likes of Huddersfield and Bolton have been over the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks or so. And they've got a consistent starting 11. Again, similar to them, I just think they need a centre forward, like a proper number 9 to come in, because I'm not sold on Bradley Fink. Felony Dimmer is a wide player. I think they need a little bit of help in that department. If Wycombe sign a goal scorer between now and the end of the season, Wycombe could finish in the playoffs.
100% agree. I think the thing is with Northampton is they beat Plymouth, didn't they, in November? Then since, good point against Huddersfield. Their good results have been points and the Wimbledon win. And these were that point just these days just keeps you afloat, doesn't it? But in between that, they're losing 2-1 at Posh, 5-1 at Burton. Good point at Bolton, good point against Huddersfield, as I've said. Good point against Stockport County. But then a defeat, they need to start winning games of football. Blackpool away, Rotherham away, that is a massive game. That is an absolute 6-pointer already. Reading, if they get 4 points out of those 3, that's good. Going into Barnsley away, Stevenage at home. You feel if they can get 6 points out of the next 5, which I think is achievable. Northampton are always ones that you get a result. Go and win 2-1 out of absolutely nowhere. And Wheatley hasn't scored the goals, but I think he's a big part of what they did. That he was a big link-up player for them and added a bit of height, physicality. Like I say, Wycombe have been great since Duff's gone in there. Just gone back to basics a little bit. It reminded me of Wycombe of the old. Yes, they're just going away from them winning only 3 points off the playoffs now with a game in hand. They just need to be a bit more consistent. You look at their games that they've got to come up. Wycombe, Peterborough at home, Wigan, Mansfield. If you want to be in the playoffs, they're the type of games you've got to be targeting. And we've still got 100 of you in as well that still at the very end. So if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you drop a subscription. That'd be very much appreciated. As now we are so close now to 18,500 subscribers, 134 away. So if you could give us a subscription, it's free to do so. 2 games left. Peterborough 0, Plymouth 1. 12 games this week, and we had 11 victories and 1 draw. As bad as it got for Peterborough yesterday, Peter Chioso getting sent off, Harry Leonard being stretchered off, losing the game of football at home. Sometimes you have these games that end things. If they'd have won yesterday, 38 points, I don't think the loss is out of the ordinary. I think where they've gone wrong is Harry Leonard getting stretchered off. For me, I would say that is the end of the road of any playoff campaign for Peterborough, unfortunately. That yes, you've got quality, but he's a talisman. He's been scoring the goals. He's been excellent of late. Big blow for them. We'll come to give Peterborough the flowers in a minute, but yeah, it's disappointing that for Peterborough, isn't it?
Yeah, because Harry Leonard's been a consistent source of goals for them and has stepped up recently. Yes, the price tag you'd say he probably should be, but a massive influence. He just allows them to get up the pitch and play up the top end of the pitch way more regularly. So to have him out for a sustained period of time is going to be a bit of a nightmare for Peter, but they'll probably have to dip into the market, try and replace, because they don't have anyone of that similar profile. They've sold Gustav Lindgren. He's gone back to Sweden now. Jimmy J. Morgan is that sort of little, in the little and large combination. You probably say that he's not one that's going to play up there. So I'd be surprised if Peterborough aren't going in for a bigger style centre forward that Jimmy J. Morgan, Matty Garbutt, Karel Isby can all play off. But yeah, I thought they were okay yesterday. Obviously, the red card massively kills any momentum that they have. But you say the end of the playoff charge, right? I don't think it is yet for this Peterborough United team.
4 points, I guess 4 points off, I agree, but losing Harry Leonard.
But the thing with Posh is like they've got a decent budget. They can go out and replace. They're an attractive proposition. They've got a good manager. They've got good players who I think have still got gears to fire. The likes of Archie Collins, the likes of Matt Garbutt. They can score goals from across the pitch. And yes, what Peter probably need to do is probably shore up a little bit defensively, because when we saw it on a couple of weeks ago, the goals that they do concede are quite soft. They need to probably bring in some more mobile centre halves or some more wing backs. But yeah, just a bit of a bump in the road for them yesterday, I thought, because they have been exceptional since Luke Williams has come in. I think Peterborough have been outstanding. If we're going to give Michael Duff a load of credit, right, about
Luke Williams was fantastic.
I think Luke Williams deserves as many flowers, if not more, because of where he picked Peterborough United up from. And this is the Peterborough team. If we're saying Wycombe are in the playoff race and Wycombe can finish in the playoffs, this Peterborough team are only 1 point behind, having played the same amount of games. So I don't think it's the end of their playoff hopes for Posh. But still, this is a huge win for Plymouth, Ben, because
massive.
It gets them 4 points away from the safety. They're now only 6 points behind the playoffs with a game in hand. Again, we've spoken about that Huddersfield probably aren't a barometer right now, but scoring goals. Bin Pebble has stepped up recently. He scored a couple of really important goals. I know he scored midweek at Bristol Rovers in the Virtue Trophy to win that in the last minute. Really good goal, really good anticipation for him to latch on to that Laurent Talai square ball. And it's a huge win for Tom Cleverley, isn't it? They're all of a sudden clawing those games and goals back. And this looked like a Plymouth team that have a bit of direction now. They look like they're playing for the manager. They look like they want to try and achieve something this year. And said it last week, 2 weeks ago, always a team that comes from the middle of nowhere. And if Plymouth Argyle can stay on the form that they're currently in, not losing so many games, they'll fancy themselves as an outside shot for the top 6, no doubt.
17 points collected from the last 8 games. 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat for Argyle. Much better, much more like Plymouth Argyle, what they are. Correlation, Derek Adams coming back to the football club, I think. They've just, Cleverley's got a bit of a leader. They've gone a bit more back to basics. They're a bit more structured. He's maybe got someone that he can talk to. He looked lost. He looked like a lost puppy, didn't he? He looked like a lost kid in a candy shop that's not been fed for 2 days. That's how he felt. But he feels like he's a different man now, and the pressure's off him a little bit. 33.6 off the playoffs with a game in hand. This league table is as close as ever. We were mentioning it's going to tighten up. I think it's got even closer, because when you're 7 points off, it feels like when you're 6 points off, yes, it's only a point, but it feels so much different, because it's that extra game closer, because it can take you 2 games in rather than 3. The goal difference will have to come up significantly a little bit if they're going to challenge, but that'll come from winning games of football anyway. They've got 2 home games now back-to-back. If they can get 4 out of those, or if they even get 7 out of the next 3, Lincoln to come. If they can go and get maybe 9 out of the next 3, they're in a good place, Plymouth Argyle.
Correct.
Last but not least, an hour and a half. We've been waiting for this.
We're about to have another hour and a half, so strap yourselves in, everybody.
Absolutely. I think this could be a 2-hour live show tonight, because we've got to do the League One table as well. Luton 2, Lincoln 2, Jay. Talk me through it.
I think if you can go to Kenilworth Road in the form that they're in at home at the minute and not play well, or play well for 20 minutes and still not lose the game of football, I think I'd be delighted. I said I'd take a point before kickoff. I'm a little bit disappointed in the manner in which it happened, because we were in complete control of the game at 2-0 up. And this is a trait under Michael Scabala, right? They get 2 goals up, they look so comfortable, and they just step off it. And it allowed Luton, because before that second goal, Luton didn't have a huge amount. It's so frustrating to concede it from a set piece. But I thought once they scored the first goal, Luton were outstanding. They moved the ball really quickly. They suffocated us at times. And from I don't know what minute they scored the first goal. Gideon Kadua scored the first goal in maybe minute 30, I would guess. Let me have a quick look. Minute 35 to minute 80, Luton had us, and they made it really, really difficult for us. They, like I say, they moved it really quickly. They had a couple of opportunities. I know there was one that went wide. George Wickens made a good save. And it did really feel like a matter of when, not if, that third goal was going to come. And it did come. Unfortunately, the referees probably had a bit of a stinker in terms of giving a foul on George Wickens, who's punched himself to the floor. But I think you got to. I watched a TikTok from Jacob Horsfall, the Burnley fan. Yeah. He said fair play. If you can con the referee into diving and thinking that someone's fouled you, I think Carl Naismith doesn't help the situation, because he barges in there a little bit.
Do you think it's a foul?
No, I don't think it's a foul. But I think if we're looking at it, Alex Bass got away with one last week, and it was given as a foul. I think if that's the standard, which I don't think it should be, then I can understand why the referee's given a foul, right? But we ended the game really strongly. I thought it was Freddie Draper's best performance in the Lincoln City shirt that he's ever had. Really special moment to be stood by his dad when he scored that header. Another good goal for Rob Street as well. Really pleased for him. But I will say Luton were very good. I thought they probably did. If any team deserved to win the game, I thought it probably would have been Luton. So that's why I'm actually quite happy to come out with a point from Kenilworth Road. But what it did allude to me yesterday is the state of our bench. We need bodies in really quickly. We had 2 goalkeepers on the bench yesterday. Michael, if it's minute 75, or 60, we could have turned to the bench and brought on someone like a Ben House or an Abikwu. Obviously, he's going back to Coventry to QPR, or a Collins, or maybe even bring on a Josh Honohan and go 5 at the back and really try and make it difficult for Luton and try and punch back. I feel like the 3 points could have been there for us, because in the last 10 minutes we did come on strong, and Josh Keeley had to make a really good save. And as I know there's shouts for a penalty towards the end, I'm not fully convinced. I've not seen it back myself, but look, a point away at Luton's a good point, right? I think it's a really tidy point, and I'm happy with it. But we've got to beat Burton on Thursday to make that a better point. Like we had to beat Cardiff to make the Blackpool point a better point.
Like I say, I think that 24 points now, 25 points might be enough to get Lincoln in the playoffs over the next 20 games. Could be relegation, and they're getting
25. 65 points get you in the playoffs? You think?
No, you're on 49 points.
Sorry.
25
sorry,
points.
I forgot we're that high. Yes, sorry, I forgot. I'm not used to that. Sorry.
75 points, 26 points over 26 games, over 20 games. Not that far off. I think that if you can just keep getting points right now, the next 3, I think beat Burton, don't lose against Bradford. If you beat, I tell you what, if you win those 2 home games, it's Lincoln's to lose. That would be the biggest statement you could, bigger than Cardiff. Cardiff was big and made the next games bigger. And without the Cardiff game, this might not be a big statement, but I think that could have been, on the podium, the Cardiff one's there, but you step up it again when beating Bradford. That could be big for you. Luton are a good side. I think Luton can easily get into the playoff places.
Easy. They're so good. Gideon Kadua is so, like...
he was unbelievable at Highbury. I must say, when I watched him in the Cup game, Jake, he was absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, do you know what? I came and waxed lyrical about Carell Lisby when we played Posh. Gideon Kadua, best player I've seen all season. Just what he can do, manipulating a football, so good. And look, Luton have got a deal to sign him on a permanent, and that's probably a really good bit of business, because that kid's really talented.
Absolutely. Keep the likes coming and keep subscribing. League One table then time, Jake. I think it's fair to say that, you look at that. Port Vale, 24th place, the bottom 4. How do you think of it?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, with the bottom 4, because it feels like it's probably going to be a higher threshold to stay up this season, right? It certainly looks like that way, because the mid-table is so compact. And could you see Burton getting 20 points, at least 20 points from the next 21 games? Yeah, you probably could. Could you see Blackpool doing the same? Yes. Wigan, probably. Wimbledon, maybe not. Leyton, Orient, Barnsley, Plymouth, Exeter. You'd probably say you probably could see that, right? So it's difficult, isn't it? I think Vale are gone. I think Rotherham, look at that form. 6 defeats, direct defeats. They're in a world of pain. Doncaster, that win changes the mindset a little bit, doesn't it? Northampton, where no win in what's that, 5 now for them, trouble for them. It's difficult. They've got to try and catch those teams outside the bottom 4, haven't they? So, but it's theirs to do. They've got to do some good business, and we'll see. But it's certainly heating up down the bottom end.
It is indeed, and I think that anyone in that bottom half's in trouble. Like Exeter have been done so well, but a couple of bad defeats and they're out amongst it again, and a couple of good results, and you're looking above you, and that's football for you. The top end of the table, I'm sure you'll be liking that reading. Any of those can really go on and get in the playoffs. Reading have shown a bit more lately. Peterborough United have shown glimpses in parts, and that big result against Bolton last weekend. Mansfield feel like that might be the highest they can go, if I'm honest with you, but who says no if they're on a good run? Wycombe have been brilliant, but you still have 1 win in every 3, pretty much. Stevenage have hit a lull, but they're still there. They've still got games in hand, but you feel that they're starting to find the place. Luton are starting to click into gear, especially at home, that you're starting to see what Jack Wilshere wants to do. You can see the Arsenal effect on them, the long throws, the set pieces, the bully you, the physical, the strong, they shoot from outside the box. Huddersfield, you never know with a new manager. Bolton Wanderers feel like, hopefully they can move in the right direction again. Stockport County also not that far away. How many teams would you say are in the top 2 race then, Jake?
3.
Lincoln, Bradford, Stockport.
Yeah.
Bolton not in it? Only 3 points.
Well, yes, but I like I referenced about Bolton earlier, and this is genuinely not to get bites. I just think they've got that clanger in them, whereas Stockport, Lincoln, and Bradford have probably been a little bit more consistent than them. I mean, over the last couple, and I'm not. It's not me trying to say Bolton can't do it, because they probably can, right? They've got the best squad out of the 4 teams there to do it. But look, at no point am I saying this is Lincoln's to lose. I definitely think we've got a really good shout. Stockport are the team that I'm worried about, as that team currently holding that position. They have the tendency to go on really good runs of form. And if there's going to be any team that comes outside the top 6 to get in there, it's got to be Luton at this minute in time, the way they're playing. So got to patch up that away form, but at home they're definitely going to beat enough teams if they play like they did yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there. Keep your comments coming. By the way, we've had over 800 join us throughout tonight's stream, which is the most we've had this season and the most we've had for nearly a year. So thank you very much for everyone that's tuned in. Thanks for everyone that has liked, subscribed. We've gained 4 new subscribers.
We're a bit big,
I'm not sure how many likes we've got on tonight's show. So if you could hit a like for us, with 87 of you, 88 still of you in now. And subscribe, because about 50 of you won't be subscribed. So if you could subscribe down below, let's see how many subscribers we can gain for the end of the show. So let's get close to 18,500 subscribers. Jakey boy, talk me through the next part of the show, pal.
Predictions, Ben. So, hello. That was slightly strange. So obviously last week we didn't
just came out the League One badge then. You went on your you was like, you went.
So you got 5, Ben, for that week where we only had 4 games, and I got 2. So
that's not bad.
You got a correct score, Ben. Do you know which score you got right of those 4 games that we had?
What were the games again?
Stockport, Huddersfield, Luton, Stevenage, Peterborough, Bolton, and Orient, Cardiff.
Luton, Stevenage.
Yeah, you went for that this week. So that brought you on to 165.
And what were you on at that point?
171 I was on. Going into this weekend then, Ben, you, again, drew 5 points from a full game week. So not great for you, whereas I did pretty average and got 7. Did you get a correct score this week, Ben? I don't think, looking across the paperwork, you did. I got 1. I got a correct score. I got the Cardiff Bradford score correct. Meaning at the minute, we are currently on Ben 170 points, Jake 170.
Hey, fishy.
I'm 178 points. So, look, here we are. So, should we move on to we've got, Ben, a midweek game to discuss in League One this week. We have, let me get it up, football, leagues and cups, League One, scores and fixtures. So we have a Tuesday night game, Ben, for you to dissect.
You can go first if you like.
No, I want to. Okay, yeah, I will do actually, because I will do. Stevenage are playing Bolton Wanderers. I know why you did that, because you want me to. Do you want me to take the stick from the Bolton fan?
No, because I've got a prediction. I just thought, well, I normally go first, so I thought I'd let you have it.
What I would say is, Stevenage have drawn a lot of games at home 1-1 this year. So I'm going to go Stevenage 1, Bolton Wanderers 1.
Stevenage 0, Bolton 1. Very tight nip and tuck.
Ben, you get to go first then for this one. I wish I never bothered. Lincoln City versus Burton Albion.
Lincoln 2, Burton 1.
I don't want to get cocky.
Thing is, mate, you could go 6 clear.
I'm not bothered about that. Lincoln City 1, Burton Albion 0. I think we scrape past them. Okay, first early kickoff. The early kickoffs this week, Ben, are looking tasty. There's 3 of them, right? So we have got Cardiff against Stockport in the first early kickoff. I'm going to go Cardiff City 2, Stockport County 1.
Yeah. Idiot. 2-0 Cardiff.
Huddersfield Bradford, Ben. Obviously, no league grant. Could that go in the Huddersfield favour?
Huddersfield 3, Bradford 1.
Christ. Okay, you think it will. I'm going to go Huddersfield. Huddersfield 1, Bradford City 1 for me. Plymouth versus Luton at home park. I'm going to go Plymouth Argyle 2, Luton Town 1.
Plymouth 2, Luton 0.
Ben, you get to predict your favourite team, the Seasiders, against my favourite team, the Cobblers.
Oh, God.
It's a game, mate. Honestly, we could be friends or enemies by the end of that game.
Because I know what I'm going to predict.
Yeah, I know you are.
Oh, Blackpool 2, Northampton 0.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I'll go Blackpool 3, Northampton 0. Why not? Bolton versus Leyton Orient. Now, I know I've made a few enemies tonight from the greater Manchester area. So,
Lancashire.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to I'm winding them up, mate.
It's not great, Manchester. It's Lancashire. No, but like they are great, Manchester. But I don't know what Bolton think, but to me, it's Lancashire. But because by the way, anything I do, if you notice, when Bolton won the derby, I've not put the Greater Manchester derby. I wanted to put Lancashire derby just to annoy people, but
Bolton Wanderers 2, Leyton Orient 0.
2-1 Bolton.
Ben, Doncaster Rovers against Wigan Athletic.
Doncaster 2, Wigan 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Doncaster 0, Wigan 0. So we play Port Vale against Exeter. I'm gonna go Port Vale 2, Exeter 1.
Yeah, exactly what I wanted, you idiot. Port Vale 1, Exeter 0.
Ben, Reading versus Barnsley.
1-1.
Reading
That's the most 1-1 game ever.
Reading 2, Barnsley 1. Rotherham United, Ben, against Wimbledon. Feels like a big game down the bottom.
Rotherham 1, Wimbledon 0.
Rotherham.
Were you first to that?
No, I'm first.
What?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Rotherham 0, Wimbledon 1. I'm going for. What did you go for? 1-0 Rotherham.
1-0 Rotherham. So it doesn't matter.
Okay, Ben.
Sorry, I didn't.
You can go first for this one. Stevenage versus Mansfield.
Stevenage, man. I'm first, am I?
Yes. I know what I'm doing.
2-0 Stevenage.
Stevenage 0, Mansfield Town 1. And then Wycombe versus Peterborough. I'm going to go Wycombe Wanderers 2, Peterborough United 2.
2-1 Wycombe.
I nearly went for that, to be fair. But there we are. And then after that, Ben, we've got 2 shows next week. We've got Sunday next week, and then we've got Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you turning up this Wednesday night? You're not having it off?
It's Lincoln Bradford, mate. It's a big game. I'll be there. Not only is it a big game, obviously, for the league, but also just like what it means when Lincoln play Bradford. It's a huge game. So I'll be there.
I watched the last game when you played Bradford at Valley Parade.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? We're doing a proper. Well, I say a proper. The upper 7 lads, a little quadrant that do their singing. They're doing a display for the 56. So I don't know if people have. I don't know if you can benefit, or if I'm even allowed to get people to ask to do it. But they're looking for donations to help put towards the cost of doing a display for the 56. So if you do have any spare change and you want to support, I think all the money goes towards the not only the keeping of the or the making of the display, but also is going towards the Bradford Fire Burns unit, or the Bradford Hospital Burns unit. So it's a good cause. So if you do have any spare money, if you don't mind, because it will be a good display, one would suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Go and I'll find a link for that. I'll try and find a link for it as well. Jake, thank you so much for coming on tonight, mate.
Thanks, mate. 2-hour show. That's my fault
Yeah,
because we had three games in 45 minutes. But yeah, good, mate. It was good fun.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you so much for everyone watching at home. Please like, please subscribe. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend. We'll be back here 25th of January, 8 o'clock. We'll be live again. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Do you want to answer that before we go? We'll leave them unattended up for next week.
We'll have a chat next week, mate.
There we are. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you later. Thank you to Jake. Thank you all. Please like, subscribe on your way out. Got the cods. What do you call Fleetwood in League One?
Relegated.
Cods Vlogs. Hosting League One live.